So I'm on another bread making day, which seems to be it seems to be the way it is at the moment. So I've just made the dough for some baguettes, and I'm making some sweet buns. So these are the type of buns that you'd use in like ice buns or Devon splits or something like that of a sweet nature. I like the ones where it's like the torpedo shape and it's split and it's got sweetened cream in, chantilly cream, which is basically whipped cream, which has got a little bit of sugar and some vanilla in. That's very nice. And just a little bit of raspberry or strawberry jam either laid on or just squeezed over the cream, which is very nice as well. It's a bit of a childhood memory for mine. So without further ado, let's crack on with this. So as usual in the recipes, I'm starting off with the flour. So I'm putting 500 in. If you think your bowl's dirty, it's because I've just done the baguettes, which I've done it this way around because I'm doing the sweet one after the normal one. So let's get 500 grams of flour in. I'm using a 12.5% protein. And the reason I keep on going on about protein, I'm not trying to bamboozle anyone, but it's simply this. It's the strength of the flour, of the protein. The protein is the strength in the flour that gives it the stretch and gives it the structure, because the protein turns into gluten. You don't need to know any of that, as long as it's not too strong, because we're making like soft buns. We want a really strong flour if we're making things like sourdoughs, etc. So that was a little aside, but I like to keep things basic and simple. So just to make people aware that flours do have different strengths. So if you see strong flour, very strong flour, we don't want the very one, we want this just the strong, which is about 12.5%, 12 to 12.5%, which is good. I like to do things in order, as you know. So this particular recipe, it's an enriched yeast dough, or an enriched dough. It is a yeast dough because we're putting yeast in. That's where it's a yeasted dough. It's got yeast in it. Not hard, is it? Sometimes. Enriched just means you add in other richer ingredients. In this case, it's going to be butter and it's going to be eggs. Eggs help things rise. It helps to give flavour and texture to the bread. It just changes it. So I'm using 2 sachets of yeast, which is 14 grams. And the reason for the more yeast is because the ingredients we're putting in, the enriched ingredients, the eggs and the butter, are a bit heavier. So they need a little bit more oomph to get them up and rising. Hence, that's why we're doing that. Right, so I've added me yeast. I always like to add things in order, like you know by now. So let's reset the scales. Let's get them down to 0. And I'm putting 10 grams of salt. You're putting salt in a sweet bun? Yes, you do, because salt is the basic flavour that gives you that you need for bread. Otherwise, it's abysmal. It's well, I'd go as far to say it's probably inedible. Well, it's not inedible, but it won't taste very nice. And we're going to put in 50 grams of sugar. Now, be careful with sugar. To think, oh, I like it really sweet. What you've got to think about the final results. So things like sugar alter the colour. So in the end, if you want like a darker colour and a sweeter bun or a sweet bun, you'll get a darker colour at the end. So on this particular one, don't forget to reset it, Jason. Let's get things right here. Let's get 50 grams of sugar in there. 50 grams, that's 25. You can't say this. I'm working in the worst kind of space in the world here. It's just so cramped, and I like to be organised with what I'm doing, but I like to be clean and tidy. So I don't need that. I don't need that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Let's get that in the bin. Let's say if we don't need something, let's move it. Let's create ourselves a bit of space. Let's make it a little bit more user friendly for us. You just adapt, don't you? Like everything you've got, you kind of, if you've got little fridge space, you've got to adapt your life around what you've got. If you've got like 3 triple freezers, then you know you're going to kind of do a lot more in you know, prepping things and having things frozen. I just kind of adapt to what I've got. Let's get that to 0. So I said butter. We're not melting this. We're just going to get 40 grams of butter in. Same as the sugar. What this will do, it'll actually change the colour as well. It's going to enrich it, and all I'm doing is I'm kind of putting it in trying to like thin slivers if I can. because it's going to mix in. And I've said this before, but what happens with, I just want the 40 grams. What happens with when you start mixing in a machine is it will produce heat just by the sheer friction of things moving around and the dough working against itself produces heat. There's 40 grams in there. That's enough. Let me get that in the fridge. Let's get things away. Here we go. And for the rest of the kind of the solid ingredients, as it were. So I'm using 2 eggs. Now, what you've got to be aware of, kind of with eggs and adding anything like that, is it contains 75% water thereabouts. So when I'm making recipe, and if you ever wonder how recipes vary and how they work things out, well, what it is certain things. I'm looking for an overall total of about 350 mils of water in there, about. And that can change, but you've got to work out if I'm putting these in, which contain 75 grams of water, then I've got to reduce my amount of total water by 75 grams. Now you don't have to worry about that because I've done all that, so that's not to worry about. And it's the same with milk. Why do you put more milk in than water? Well, this contains 90% water, so we actually need to add a bit more to take us up to the volume of water that we need. Now there are other factors. Anyway, we're not complicating it. Oh wait, let's just get on. Let's mix it all. So it's just to be aware of. The reason recipes are different and stuff like that is they're the things you've got to consider. You don't have to consider them because we're putting the recipe together, so it doesn't really matter. So there we go. Let's get 2 eggs. No need to beat them. No need to do anything like that. Get them in the bowl. Jobs are good, and they're all going to mix around in there. There's no need to worry about that. So last 2 ingredients. Let's get them in there. Let's zero our scales. And we've got 160 grams of milk. So let's get that in there. This can be a little bit of a sticky dough. Right, so I've just gone over there. I've 160, so I've gone 170. So I should have been watching what I was doing there, shouldn't I? So I've gone 170, so I've gone over by 15 grams. So I'm going to put 15 grams less of water in, which is, I was going to put 100 in, now I'm going to put 85. So let's zero that and let's put 85 water in. So I should have been paying attention what I was doing. Let's get that in there. Let's get that in 85. Right, let's watch what I'm doing this time. 50, 60. Now, again, what some maybe's would have done there is just let's just bin it. Start again. I've made a mistake. But like I say, you can adapt around things, which is not a problem. It will alter it slightly, not enough to make any kind of worrying things with it. But right. So I'm going to leave you at this point because I've lost my door hook. Where's my door hook? Right, give me 1 second. I'll find my door hook. Oh, yeah, here we go. So, yeah, my door hook, because I've made the last loaf of bread. I wonder where it disappeared now. Honestly, you put things down around here, they just disappear into nowhere. And all we're going to do, we're going to set that away. 15 minutes, just low to start with, get it mixing. And said the only reason you do it low is so you don't have flour just bouncing all over the place, because obviously you dry ingredients. It doesn't take long. Once that starts coming in from the side, get it up. I'm using about speed 3 on here, then it's just over. And the end result I'm looking for is something which is stretchy, smooth, and it'll be slightly shiny because of the butter content in there and the eggs. But we'll have a look when that's done and see where we go from there. But there we are. Like I say, I'll put the proper ingredients on to get them right at your end. But for now, like I say, that's going to do its thing for 15 minutes. We'll come back, have a look and see where it's like at the end of it. So there's our dough mixing. So see you soon. Bye for now.